I'm painting outside because we get to build a living memoir together in a city's neighborhood that is often at risk.
Hello, everyone. Gwartzman's is here with a very special guest, Anson.
My name is Anson Ng. I am a painter that grew up in this neighborhood, and now I paint Chinatowns across Canada.
Just for fun, if you had to describe your practice in 3 words, what comes to mind?
Wow, 3 words. Landscapes outside Chinatown. Yeah.
How long have you been painting and practicing your craft for?
Not many people know this, but I actually dropped out of art school
Mm.
when I was 21, and then I did not do art for almost 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so many other things, and then I went back to art school in 2016, and I graduated into the pandemic, and it was actually after the pandemic, so around 2021, when I decided to be a painter. Yeah.
Do you think that's because school wrung you out a little too hard the first time?
Oh wow, good question. Actually, it did for a lot of us. But I also came from cooking and washing dishes to then suddenly taking art classes. So for me, the context was very different than a lot of people. It was actually a lot better because I had come from something so different to just painting glass cups.
Kind of a refreshing change.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your artwork, whether it be your plein air, going out on your outdoor adventures, or your digital landscapes, or maybe anything else that you may be doing, what inspires you most to create? Or if it's hard to pick one top, maybe like, what are some things that inspire you?
What inspires me the most to create? Wow. I read this question earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, I can totally answer that. Super no problem. So initially, it was just the joy of painting. Initially, it was like, oh wow, this feels really good. Painting outside feels really good. And then as I started creating artwork of places, these places slowly became non-existent. So for something that started out as a practice that only served and fed me became something that ended up nourishing other people as well. So then I'm realizing now that my artwork can not only heal myself, but also other people.
Which overlaps with your culinary background.
It does, yeah. Art nourishes in different ways, yeah.
Especially with the growing gentrification of Chinatown as well.
Literally
There's so
happening.
many, seeing a lot of the places that were originally kind of staples in my routine are no longer, but even within that, we're still very fortunate to have many long life places.
Gwartzman being one of them.
Ding! One of the things that you post a lot about is your plein air paintings and your plein air ventures and things like that. What got you started in taking plein air a little more seriously? And by seriously, that's like, actually planning your day to actually go out somewhere and bring all of your stuff and then do that kind of more routinely.
I have 2 answers to that. Initially, I let go of art. I stepped away from art because painting didn't feel very good. And I wasn't sure why. I think initially we often have at least for me, I know what I don't want before I know what I actually want. So for a long time, painting wasn't fun. And then when I went to art school, I had a teacher who said, his name's Ted. That doesn't matter, but
Shout out Ted.
Shout out to Ted, who changed my life. He gave us an assignment to paint outside. It just do it. So many of us were like, I hate this. Why are we painting outside? And for me, I was like, painting could feel good if I paint outside. So that was kind of my first introduction to outdoor painting. And then through art school, I've learned like the legacy of outdoor painting, not only in France with Monet, but also here in Canada with Tom Thompson, and then later the Group of Seven. And keeping that in mind, I graduated into a pandemic where all places was basically illegal to go to.
Yeah.
Indoor being obviously unsafe, but also outdoor. For a while, we had lockdown, so everything was closed. And then that was actually when I stepped into my love for plein air again, when things were kind of closed up. So that for me was really, really when I became a plein air painter during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think too, on the same kind of narrative of nourishment, like being outside, you get to nourish yourself with the sunlight, fresh air, and other fruits of the outdoors.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a symbiotic thing.
It's also a performance piece, right? Like you don't think about it that way, but it's also like you're out there for an hour or two painting, as you've done as well, and people come up to you, people see what you're doing, not noticing what you're doing, but also noticing what you're painting. So in a city that I think that's so disconnected from where we are and so digitally trapped sometimes, it's so good to see other people just staring at a brick wall for like 3 hours.
Some things that we may take for granted, and the next thing you know, it's not there anymore.
And it's a condo or something. Yeah. It happens a lot around here.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of the subject matter of your artwork, both your plein air and your digital work, is our beloved Chinatown. So can you tell us a bit about why that is and your connection to our neighborhood?
Ooh, another big question for me. I've answered this question in different ways, and as I continue my practice, I've added to it over and over again. So I grew up in this neighborhood. And very specifically, I grew up in a restaurant in this neighborhood. So my parents had a restaurant for about 20 years, just a few blocks down. And the long break I took after dropping out of art school for the first time was actually to work in restaurants for like 8 years, 7 to 8 years. And I took that long because I had to make sure that if I didn't want to do restaurants anymore, it would be an answer that I had to be very definite about, because then my parents would step away from their business. They won't be a successor or someone taking over the business, which would have also changed my life in a totally different direction.
Artist or business owner, or like restaurant.
Yeah, it's really different. It's like 60 hours a week, you know. And I grew up around a family system like that, which I did not like and I did not want. So then I stepped towards art, and initially the Chinatown stuff, the business, the restaurant painting didn't come right away. It was when I actually came back to Toronto during the pandemic, when many of the places I grew up with were closed. Obviously, my parents' restaurant is also closed, but also many places during the pandemic also closed. So kind of like what I was saying earlier about the Impressionists and the Group of Seven, they painted from their own culture, right? Their churches, their cathedrals, their neighborhoods. And for me, it was kind of the natural progression of like growing up in a restaurant, not opening a restaurant, painting restaurants. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
So not all of the past restaurant life was lost.
No. Yeah, it lives on in a different way. Yeah.
It's very sweet. Which also is the case for a lot of people that are viewers of your work too, that grew up in our neighborhood.
It's true, yeah.
So you get to kind of share in that communal memory.
We get to celebrate it together. Yeah.
Very sweet. So moving on to more about your workshop. So beyond just your own personal practice for primarily, I guess, yourself, but in sharing that with others in a more intimate way, why choose plein air as the subject of a lot of your workshops?
Yeah. I think it would have been a little harder to teach painting classes during the pandemic inside. So outside was kind of the natural progression, but also I don't enjoy painting inside. I do teach classes inside from time to time. And now I'm painting outside because it feels good for me. And also we get to celebrate and create almost like a living memoir with the places that we visit, right? Like even when we painted together and you're doing a class with me, there was like maybe 10 or 15 of us painting on Dundas and Huron together. in a city that often changes too much, I think it's very valuable to sit outside and paint together. The whole point of it is to, like I said earlier, build a living memoir together. And I think it's really rare in a city's neighborhood that is often at risk.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like so much of Toronto is always constantly at risk.
Yeah. Empty condos, by the way. These condos are empty. They're not, I mean, we can fall down a giant rabbit hole. But...
Yeah, but that is really nice too, because like in addition to like having this living memoir of places, you get to not only do it yourself, but you can share in that with other people, and then kind of get to see the same location or the same environment through the eyes of so many different people at the same time, in the same place,
together.
Same moment.
Yes.
All varying skill levels.
Yeah.
So even just the experience of that, the painting alone, but just the experience of being together is really valuable.
So special. So I've done a few different workshops in the city over the years, and I think if I had to choose 2, maybe 3 words to describe what we do: painting, picnic. That describes it the best. Because over time, I have people who return to my workshops, and then they bring snacks and a picnic blanket, and they bring friends, and we would supply all the paint and supplies, and then you just kind of paint together for a few hours. Over the years as well, something that I think I want us to consider when we're making art is not to focus on the end product as much as how it feels to make the art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I really want to focus on when we're doing art, because if the process doesn't feel good, you're not going to do it again.
You're probably not going to like the end result.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel good getting there. So when I teach anyways, there are obviously tons of other artists teaching other people to paint. But when I bring this kind of teaching into my practice, I want to focus on how it feels.
If people want to check out more of your work or learn more about you, how can they do that?
Oh, wow. Call to action. Very good. You can find me at my website at www.helloanson.com. I also have Instagram, hello.anson. And my email is contact@helloanson.com.
Okay. Okay. Nice.